But maybe, I don't know, I'm hopeful that the government's suddenly nervous after this revolt by business in particular about one part of this plan, a tougher rule that would make every development be assessed on what it did to global warming. You can see that would be an activist paradise. What do you think's going on?
This is something I'm incredibly passionate about. For your listeners who are not on the land, this is the creep of socialism. The divestment of an individual of their privately owned asset to be vested in the community, to be vested in the general ownership without payment. There's a word for that. It's called communism, and it does not work. So even if you're not on the land, you should see these issues and really it should ring bells in your head and go, no way. If you want something, buy it. But don't steal it by caveat after caveat after caveat. I want to give you a couple of examples. One, if there's a bushfire that goes through the land, at times it germinates seeds, and next thing you have trees growing up. In a lot of areas now, you're not allowed to control those. If you can't control the trees, that means the pasture's gone, the land is useless. They've come up with overriding statements in areas where you can only graze the land for 6 weeks of the year. So you're paying the rates for 12 months of the year. You had to buy it 100%. So you've been divested of that asset. Other areas, if it's a named creek, you can't dig a hole in it to water your stock. You've got other areas now where you can't put a crop in, even though you may have cropped it before. This is happening. You are divesting private assets and allowing the government to do it on the premise of some sort of quasi-faux virtue. And this nature repair bill is yet the next one. Even the nomenclature of it, the nature repair bill. What exactly are you repairing? You know, are you repairing or are you stealing? Is it the farmer? Is it the land theft bill? Is that actually what it is? And who are we actually attacking on this? I mean, the most noble gesture you can deliver to the world is to feed or clothe them. Surely that is the case. And with a population heading towards 10 billion people, doesn't Australia have a moral duty to put food into the food stack so that people don't starve to death? And they will if you don't. Yet what we're doing in this nation is making it harder for us to do our moral obligation to the world and feed them. Yet what we are having to abide by is a raft of policy positions driven by the inner suburbs of Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, at the expense of regional Australia, at the expense of our belief in private ownership, which is supposed to be a cornerstone of a Western democracy in a place such as Australia, and at the expense of being able to do what we should do, which we have an obligation to the globe to do, and that is feed people. And so I hope that not only do they pull the bill and throw it in the bin, because this is an incredibly invidious step to a further socialisation of Australia. We've had enough with, wind tower, swindle factories, photovoltaic black, governments just tearing through our land willy-nilly, putting caveats on us, and this is yet the next iteration of it. Do not listen to the nomenclature. Look at exactly what they're doing. It is just further caveats on private assets owned by private individuals that have been paid for over generations.
Yes, it's called the Nature Positive Bill, actually. I think it should be called the People Positive Bill. I think our first responsibility, as you've just suggested, is to the people